Welcome to channel AMAC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on a little bell on the side, so once we all have the update and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now in this video, I would like to take you a little bit of discussion about GTI, which has been well known and also query about. Now I have received this comment and query a couple weeks ago in regards to a little bit of explanation how the GTI target sector education actually covers. It's a very specific topic, and because it's a least used sector to actually relate to GTI Global Talent Independent, whereby a lot of people have a lot of confusions how you can actually be categorized and reach that stage of global talent status under the sector of education. So this video, I will pay detailed attention to that specific sector and giving you some example as well. So again, first of all, apologize for not getting these videos sooner, as we have recently experienced a lot of state nomination updates, so I need to get those videos out before this one. So let's jump in there and have a look, and let's discuss how this may be of interest. So this is the GTI webpage published by the Immigration of Australia Home Affairs. So under eligibility, you may see a target sector here. Now the newly updated website is provide much more detailed information, which is good, because half a year ago or last year the web page is very vague. Now they are giving more information now. Okay, now let's jump into this part here, education. So what does it say? It says here the sector includes but is not limited to following specializations. Obviously, now we need to know the differences between occupation and sector. Now sector is it has a definition of larger capacity. It covers, it's an overarching idea of whatever people who is working in that sector. So to be more specific, is that the Global Talent Independent actually meant they are looking for these talent and they are at the top of that sector, okay, and that top is of that range. So it's not just the occupation itself. Now it includes occupation, but it also includes other specialty and also specialization, or perhaps managerial role in that specific sector. So that's what it actually meant, because a lot of people got really confused. But anyhow, the more video that I do, and the more video that you digested through my channel, you may actually get that glimpse. Plus recently the state of Victoria and state of New South Wales is also using this concept as well. The reason they are taking this approach is that they notice that focusing on occupation, the trend of focusing on occupation is slightly, and in the future will be shifted. For example, you may be some sort of occupation, not really in that occupation list, but you're actually working in a target sector. You're actually working in a sector that the government of Australia love you to be in there, and there is a specialization in there. So let's have a look. Okay, within the sector of education, okay, you may be specializing but not limited to these four. So cutting edge skill, emerging field of the industry. So industry means the education industry. So you having some sort of cutting edge skill, an emerging field of the industry. So what does that mean? As you know, education sector is no longer as the one that we have perceived in the past. So obviously, in conjunction to the recent virus issue around the world, a lot of IT and a lot of technology has been involved into the education industry. So for example, online learning, how they utilize virtual reality, how they have utilized the virtual meeting room, virtual classroom, virtual expo, and all sorts of technology, or perhaps AI, big data, how that could actually improve the learning experiences of somebody, not having themselves face-to-face at the classroom, but they can actually experience that with high-speed internet and also technology that they use. So that's what actually that meant, okay? And develop advanced education system and curricula. Now this is more towards I think it will be hard to actually develop a new curricula anymore. However, there are still some, for example, ways of learning languages. You may notice that in the past, for example, language learning is more towards face-to-face and also in classroom situations. So utilizing technology and perhaps system nowadays, you can have that done through your mobile phone, through your smartphone. And that's sort of things that what they're trying to talk about. And they utilize gaming, for example. I've seen some of the learning apps for Korean. They're using game and levels of different approaches, so make it exciting and interesting for people to actually learn Korean. So this kind of stuff is what they're trying to look for. Now, improving the education infrastructure in Australia. Now that will be pretty straightforward. That means you basically are appointed in the high. We have an example of this one in the high managerial role, a senior role within the institution, and you perhaps build a new library, a new digital library, or seeing those new one of the Queensland University of Technology utilize solar panel energy and things like that to build a new building. So that's all about the infrastructure, and that also includes infrastructure, not just the hardware, but sometimes the software as well. So how they improve the system within the institution. So that's now education infrastructure. It's more, I would say, more towards the university side. So these people will be very, very seniority at the hierarchy of that organization. So anyhow, if you are someone who's specialized in this, it's all different. Or perhaps some of the private colleges, private high schools, they are upgrading their infrastructures. For example, making all classrooms digital. Okay, how the utilize of iPads around the campuses and things like that. So that's all the thing that they're talking about. Okay, now the last one is the digital data and e-research platform. So this will be pretty straightforward. So they're making a lot of library material, for example, to be digital. So you no longer flip through books and things. So digitalize all the archive and things like that into big data to be used for research purpose, so make it more efficient. So that's the thing that we're talking about. So I'm giving you a more expanding detail of what education industry under the target sector of GTI actually covers. So again, I'll wrap everything up at the end of this video. So let me take you into an email that received from the immigration itself. So again, this is the auto message, but it also explains a bit what education covers. So what are the global talent pathways? So they are all these ones. So the same as the page that we have just seen. So at the end of here, it says education with a little bit of asterisk at the end. So what does it say? So it says here, I might need to move that up so you can see that, so I don't cover block the actual sentences here. So the education sector should not, okay, this is very important, should not be selected solely on basis of having achieved higher education qualification and employment school university. So here we go. So it does not meant to be for employee who has been, for example, he has been a professor, been working in a university for 10 years, and he will meet that requirement. No, they are not looking for this kind of people. If they are research professor, he will go through different part of visa and things like that. They're looking for people who can actually utilize technology or perhaps improvement of infrastructure of the education system. So merging technology into the actual system, or perhaps a newly designed, whether it's going to be hardware or software. Okay, so that's the thing, that's the key here. Now I'm taking you into some of the examples. Okay, so make sure you can actually find this web page through the testimonial where the GTI program is. So there's constantly an updated testimonial here, which is great because it provides us to know how the others has been in their field. So I'm just putting into a search of education. We can jump straight there. So this guy, okay, Nicholas Higgins. Now I'm actually blocking him fully. So what I'm gonna do is, here we go. Okay, great. Now, Nicholas, obviously you see he's from the education sector there. He's from UK and now based in Sydney. So what does he do? Okay, Nick, co-founder of Access Platform. So what does this platform? So it's a digital platform, but it's in the education sector. Why? Because it's a leader of digital student recruitment. So he had built a platform, digital platform, utilized to actually recruit international students. Very interesting. Okay, so Nick obviously is not an educator, is not a professor from a university, but he actually built a platform to help education providers share authentic campus experiences. Now this is very new, and because nowadays a lot of people from overseas, they don't. There's so many international education expos out there, but building a campus experience through a platform digitally will be great, because the future student, for example, they're somewhere else in the world, they can actually experience how the campus is like. That this is very good. So I believe this will include some sort of virtual reality and things like that. Now I've seen some of the high schools utilizing this kind of experiences to make you actually feel like you are walking through via looking into the screen, walking through the campuses and see where the field is, where the sports arena, where the classroom, lecture room, how it feels like. It's great. It's a very good experience. So he worked with the key strategic growth market to help Australian universities showcase their diverse offering, engage or attract international students. So this is the thing that I wanted to share about. So again, Nick is not a professor. He's not a teacher. He probably perhaps never been in education industry as an educator, but he has built a digital platform to utilize by a university in Australia to actually attract international students with the campus experiences digitally. So that's where we are looking forward. Now the other one, let's jump in there. Now this guy, what's his name? So this is the actual professor. Okay, Professor Francis Campbell. Okay, also from UK. Now he's not a tech guy. He has been an advisor for the British Prime Ministers and the Foreign Officers for UK. Now he had been assisted the University of Notre Dame for its, I think this is more towards infrastructure improvements, as you see there, and obviously Francis does hold a very senior role in the university. He's a vice chancellor, so he has been assisted the university for its infrastructure improvement, whether this is hardware or software. I've explained this before. So finally, let me summarize. Now, GTI, you may see there's a lot of different sectors. There are 10 different sectors. Now, sectors does not mean you have to be in those specific occupation of those sector, or stereotype thinking of those occupation. You can be different type of occupation as long as you prove that you are at the top of the talent pyramid within that sector, utilizing different parts of technology or improvement as in that sector to actually be selected. Again, this will be a similar role to be utilized in the financial services and fintech, because a lot of people might not be the tech guy, but they actually involved in that field to implement and integrate the system by immense, as their role is at the very seniority of that hierarchy within that industry. Anyhow, should you have more queries and questions, more than welcome to leave a comment right down below, and I see you next video. Goodbye.